Hello Africa, this is the Hello Africa morning show on AAU TV, and AAU TV is the voice of higher education in Africa. We are coming to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities. And to our top stories for today. There is good news for data across Ghana starting July 1. Data bundles allocation across all major telecom networks will increase following successful negotiations between the government and mobile operators. Communication Minister Samuel George made the announcement at the press briefing in Accra, marking a major shift in data accessibility.
In a move set to benefit millions of mobile users, Ghana's Minister of Communications, Samuel George, has announced significant increase in data bundle allocations across all major telecom networks effective July 1, 2025. Speaking at a press conference in Accra, the minister detailed the outcome of negotiations with telecom CEOs aimed at enhancing value for consumers. Under the new arrangement, Airtel Tigo Ghana will implement a 10% increase across all data bundles. The 400 Ghana cedis bundle will now offer 236 GB, up from 195 GB. Telecel Ghana also sees a 10% increase, with its 400 Ghana cedis bundle jumping from 90 GB to 250 GB. And MTN Ghana leads the pack with a 15% increment across all bundles, and the restoration of a 399 Ghana cedis bundle, returning to its 214 GB after the previous downgrade. Minister George acknowledged that these changes come at a cost to network operators, but expressed satisfaction that industry collaboration is delivering real benefits for Ghanaians. He thanked telecom leaders for their cooperation and reaffirmed government's commitment to expanding digital access and affordability nationwide. This latest adjustment is part of a broader push to strengthen Ghana's telecom sector and ensure value for money for consumers in an increasingly digital economy.
So still in Ghana, Ghana's nurses and midwives have called off their nationwide strike after nearly 2 weeks following successful talks with the Parliamentary Health Committee on June 12th. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association directed members to resume work on June 14th with a follow-up meeting set for June 26 to address outstanding issues, including allowances to service milestone, rural posting, fuel, and uniforms. The association reaffirmed its non-partisan stance, urging Ghanaians to reject misinformation as dialogue continues.
Ghana breathed a collective sigh of relief as nurses and midwives across the nation call off their 2-week strike. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association and the President Perpetual Ofori Ampofo said intensive talks with the Parliamentary Health Committee on June 12th proved very fruitful, paving the way for an end to the disruption. Members were directed to return to work Saturday, June 14th, while a follow-up meeting is set for June 26 to review progress on implementing elements of their 2024 collective agreement, including allowances for service milestones, rural incentives, fuel, and uniforms. During the strike, public hospitals were hard hit, emergency rooms stretched beyond capacity, routine care postponed, and patient anxiety surged over potentially avoidable fatalities. The government had cited fiscal constraints, highlighting that the proposed 2 billion Ghana cedi package could upset budget targets, but pledged to negotiate in good faith moving forward. Ofori Ampofo made clear that the GRNMA remains a non-partisan professional body focused solely on securing fair treatment for its members. She also urged Ghanaians to reject misinformation and focus on the agreed roadmap. With healthcare services expected to normalize, patients, families, and frontline workers alike look forward to restored access to essential medical care and a hopeful path toward lasting resolution.
And moving on, At least 78 people have died in severe flooding in South Africa's Eastern Cape after a powerful storm on June 10th. Many were trapped in their homes or swept away, whilst rescue efforts were slowed by limited resources. President Ramaphosa visited the area where over 1,000 residents were displaced and dozens of schools and clinics were damaged. The disaster has sparked calls for stronger rural preparedness.
Disaster has struck South Africa's Eastern Cape, where catastrophic flooding has claimed at least 78 lives. This region, already among the poorest, now faces a mounting humanitarian crisis. President Cyril Ramaphosa traveled to the hardest-hit town of Mthatha this Friday, meeting with disaster officials and visiting the very bridge where a school bus was swept away in raging floodwaters. 6 students, the driver, and another adult lost their lives, and several children remain missing as rescue teams race against time and receding waters. Authorities have admitted the response was hampered because help to be flown in from distant regions. As floodwaters slowly recede, bodies are still being found, sometimes up to 2 kilometers from their homes. Officials are appealing for community help. Anyone with missing loved ones is urged to come forward. Entire communities have been devastated. More than 127 schools and 20 clinics lie in ruin. Over 1,000 residents displaced and families left scrambling for shelter, clean water, and essentials. The head of the provincial government said the rescue effort was paralyzed, but Ramaphosa defended the national response, stating that while the toll is heartbreaking, it could have been much worse. He assures disaster funds are mobilized and relief teams are on the ground to support rebuilding and future resilience.
Also, the death of 31-year-old blogger and former teacher Albert Ojwang in Nairobi police custody has triggered nationwide protest. Arrested on June 6th for allegedly criticizing Deputy Inspector General Eliud Lagat online, Ojwang died 2 days later, while police claimed self-inflicted injuries. An autopsy showed signs of assault. 1 officer has been arrested, 5 suspended, and President Ruto has called for a full investigation and growing outrage over alleged police brutality.
In Kenya, the death of blogger and former teacher Albert Ojwang, while in police custody, has sparked a wave of protest and renewed scrutiny of the nation's police force. Ojwang, 31, was arrested on June 6 for allegedly criticizing Deputy Inspector General Eliud Lagat on social media. 2 days later, he was found dead in his cell at Nairobi's Central Police Station. Initially, police claimed Ojwang died from self-inflicted injuries. However, an autopsy contradicted this, revealing signs of assault, including head trauma and neck compression. These findings have led to the arrest of a police constable and the suspension of 5 officers pending investigation. President William Ruto has condemned the incident as heartbreaking and unacceptable, urging a thorough and transparent investigation. The case has intensified public outcry over alleged police brutality and extrajudicial killings in Kenya. Demonstrators have taken to the streets demanding justice for Ojwang and accountability within the police force. As the nation grapples with this tragedy, many are calling for systematic reforms to prevent such incidents in the future.
Also, India is reeling from one of its deadliest aviation disasters in recent history. A London-bound aircraft crashed shortly after takeoff in Ahmedabad, killing more than 240 people. India's Home Minister Amit Shah has confirmed that 1 passenger survived the crash. Investigations are underway as the nation mourns and emerge lost.
India has been struck with a devastating tragedy as the London-bound aircraft crashed shortly after takeoff from Ahmedabad, claiming the lives of over 240 people. According to Home Minister Amit Shah, 230 passengers, both national and international, and 12 crew members were on board the ill-fated flight. Only 1 person survived, identified as Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, who is currently receiving medical treatment. The aircraft slammed into a nearby medical college, sparking a massive blaze and killing both passengers and students on the ground. Thick black smoke billowed into the sky as rescue teams battled flames and chaos in the aftermath. Shah confirmed that the recovery of bodies is nearly complete and DNA profiling of victims' families is underway to aid identification. He emphasized that families abroad have been contacted to support the DNA matching process. While the cause of the crash has not yet been determined, authorities are focusing on the aircraft's black box and voice recorders. As India grapples on the grief of one of its worst aviation disasters in decades, the focus now turns in supporting the victim's family and uncovering what went wrong.
That is all for our Top African News. My name is Jemima Daladem Doche. Up next is our news review. We'll go for a quick break.
I'm here with the Association of African Universities Television, AUTV. I just want to say that without the media, you won't know what's going on in the world. Even with the media, you sometimes don't know what's going on in the world. So you need to tune in to the reliable sources who are really on the front lines, who can give you the information you need and give you facts, not conjecture, give you real news, not fake news. And this is the place to find it, AUTV.
The voice of higher education in Africa.
This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
Welcome back on Hello Africa. My man, Phil, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Doing good, man. Splendid. Big ups to Jemima. The stories were very clear.
Very clear.
What's happening within Ghana in the African space. And we're back to one of the very interactive sessions of the day, which is the newspaper review. And Phil, we have with us a handful of matters that you need to appreciate, right? Yeah, I like
There's a lot of stories
to discuss the issues.
Yeah.
There are a lot of issues.
Yeah.
The
and
first
sensitive ones.
Yeah. The very first one we have here is Donald Trump, President Donald Trump. This parody on Donald Trump as a resource or a menace to the global space. Yeah? No, it's a parody, and one is to appreciate. Is it really being a global leader or being a global divider?
That's a big question.
It's a big question. And we have the first matter here that Trump mounts a expanding travel ban to 36 countries. Yeah. Initially, there were less than 36 countries, with which 9 countries were from Africa. Yeah. And now we find an expanded figure where some countries like Ghana finds itself on the list. And earlier, the AU expressed deep concern over the matter about blacklisting these countries and preventing them from entering the U.S. Yeah. And the question was, what were the issues? What were the issues?
This is a big question because I've read a few stories and the insights are quite interesting. And I don't want to draw any conclusions, but I feel like these are issues that can be easily handled. So I'm glad to know that at least in one of the reports, there's a 60-day window that allows the countries who have been mentioned in this leaked 36 countries to have the time to be able to address the concerns. Because to put it in a proper perspective, if you're an American and you follow the story, there's a little bit of a tendency of you feeling threatened because it's an issue of terrorism mentioned in there, and anti-Semitic issues as well. So if you are an American citizen, there's a tendency for you to be feeling like, well, maybe my president is trying to protect the country and protects me. On the other side, that's when it comes to the people who are being affected. We see it's like, well, this is probably some sort of injustice, in code maybe some sort of racism. I mean, it's quite a number of things, but to a broader extent, I think that we have to look at it on both divides and see clearly where the line has to be drawn and what has to be done. Because like I said, there's a 60-day window that allows the countries affected to be able to regularize documentations and policies and whatever agreements that the US have with each of these countries to be able to make sure that these problems will not become a big deal, because the world is a global village now. If we don't solve these problems and now citizens from these countries cannot travel, it's going to affect a lot of things, including business.
You know, so it's that time of the age where we should be able to look at the matters and make very concrete decisions. Say it as it is. What is President Trump's reason for including these African countries? Terrorism, or which acts of terror had been prevalent in Africa for the past 8 years? He was president for some past 4 years ago. Before the Biden-Trump administration, before he came to resume office this year. In the next regime. What were the major terrorism acts that justified these bans, these actions? That's the first one. 2, recently, President Cyril Ramaphosa visited the White House.
He was in the White House,
And he made a claim that there was mass genocide. Genocide.
Yes, I watched that on CNN.
The president of the USA, who's supposed to be the leader of the world, who should be fed with all relevant data, should be off conjecture and be very, very factual, made claims that South Africa was engaged in mass genocide and showed videos to embarrass South African president in the White House with all the officials in there lauding him, only to realize that that is not true. It's false.
Exactly.
All of these have played into time. And I think I cannot appreciate these bans. No, first it was slapping tariffs on every country. We got 10%. Ghana got 10%. We seldom export to USA. We actually import, rather. So that is actually very relevant. But on the other hand, to engage Ghana as a country caught up in terrorism, come on, the embarrassment with Syria was too much.
I wouldn't say the Ghana situation is specific to terrorism, but it's a generalized statement, because they have lumped all of the reasons for which they're trying to do what they are doing. Okay, so these things include terrorism, anti-Semitic, whatever.
Has there been any?
And then
the list goes on. So has there been any Semitic? Well, what
that involves Ghana or anybody.
Nigeria.
I get where you're coming from.
Nigeria recently, condemned Israel over its act of war crime towards countries around it, particularly Iran. Because Israel was the country that made the effort to destroy nuclear stations in Iran before Iran now retaliated. So is it wrong for Nigeria to condemn Israel for that act, for the war crimes they commit in Gaza? I mean, all of these things are factual.
So this is where I can agree with you when you talk about some facts in clearing. When I made my first assumption, I was talking about drawing the lines. This is where the thing is, because when the list goes on, it comes with other issues of nationals from these countries overstaying their visas. So maybe Ghana's situation is probably not a terrorism act. It's not anti-Semitic issues or attacks. Maybe it might be overstaying visas. Maybe involved in businesses illegally while staying there. Because, for example, if anybody is on a tourist visa, they are not allowed to work. They are not allowed to do certain things. Your tourist visa just allows you to be a visitor. That's about it. Maybe people are going beyond the mandate of these visas, and then it comes to some of these things. So as much as the issue has been journalized, I mean, other countries have been listed there. I cannot say which countries have issues with terrorism or anti-Semitic attacks and all of these things. But when you look at the full list of the issues that are being lumped together, there is the tendency that you can find where Ghana really falls short in there. So I will be glad to, again, say that our Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the authorities responsible in the US should sit down and draw the lines, and let's see where Ghana falls clearly. I will appreciate the facts, like you're saying.
Yeah, the facts.
Then we know that when
facts.
it comes to Ghana, this is what it is. Because, you see, we are talking about the US here. So there's a chance that if you don't handle this issue well, before you know it, it is out of hand. And then some other country like Canada can also say that, okay, well, if the US is not allowing people like people from Ghana and other countries in this region,
Canada,
I'm just making an example.
Canada will never reason.
I'm just making an example. Because if you're dealing with the US and you don't handle it well, it can escalate.
No, see, the issue or the misnomer in this case that we tend to be afraid to hit it where it is. President Trump, upon resumption on this in this regime, has made some decisions that, honestly, globally, don't sit properly. The bans don't sit properly. The tariffs don't sit properly. And you begin to see what exactly it is the direction of the Trump administration towards other countries in the world, in Africa, in Asia, and a whole lot more. But we have to find out. I believe that there will be a moment for better reasoning within the Trump administration on this issue about travel bans, because it makes no sense, actually.
I agree with you on that. So I will appreciate the facts to draw the lines, because I'm interested to know why Ghana is on the list.
No problem.
Because Ghana, I believe, has been a very good,
we've been good
country together with US, have good relations. Several of their presidents, or I think two of their presidents have come here. Even before this administration came here, Kamala who was the vice president at the time.
Even the first lady
came here. Yes. So I think that we have good relations.
We'll have to
so
move on to the next story. The IMF endorses Ghana's one Ghana cedi fuel tax hike, and this comes at a point in time where the citizens of this country were repelling against this one cedi levy on fuel products. We had the minority in parliament also against it. They call it the levy that was born midnight and and a whole lot more. But it's interesting that we have this coming from the IMF. What is your view on this? It comes as a surprise or as an endorsement, as a support us to accept it? Is it to help it soft land? Because this levy was supposed to be officially implemented June 9th, but due to some reasons,
June 16th, I think that should be today.
June 16th was the second date.
Okay,
After
it
was
postponed.
postponed.
That's true.
And today, we now see another lingering postponement because of a macroeconomic factor, which we'll come to later on. But let's see the announcement from Julie Kozak about this levy and how it will help us alleviate ourselves from our debts. What do you think about this?
I mean, I think that the IMF, you see, there's a norm usually that people think or say, especially when you have gone through a certain process of development and you have studied development, there's a certain notion that the IMF, as much as an organization that is there to help countries alleviate poverty and initiate financial whatevers to make sure countries are economically standing well, subtly have a certain notion that when they do things, they want to make sure that they are continuously benefiting from a certain country financially. That notion is there. But if you ask me, this doesn't sound like one of those things. Because if somebody from the IMF is saying that this is a good move, and the purpose of this levy is to clear our energy sector debt, then I don't think that notion is...
It's actually good-minded or well-minded?
So for me, it's a good thing.
Goodwill?
Yeah, it's a goodwill thing for me, because for how long are we going to be owing the IMF? Every country will want to be a sovereign country by themselves, because, mind you, whatever you go through with IMF comes with certain conditions. These are the conditions that will either make or unmake your country. So I believe that it's in a good place for us if they are in support of this, because at the end of the day, if we clear the debt, we are fine. Because look at the figure that's mentioned at $3.1 billion. It's a lot of money. This is only for the energy sector. I know there are other debts in there, but this is only for the energy sector. So if we are going to clear this, and it's a good thing for the IMF, I think it's a good thing for all of us. For me, I see it as a win-win situation. So I think that is a good thing. So I will encourage that the government to do whatever is necessary to clear these things, because at the end of the day, it will give us a good name with the IMF. That's a good reputation. It will put us in a good standing financially as well as a country. So I think that is a win-win situation for me. Yeah.
It's interesting. There are some questions that we ask.
Okay.
Basic questions.
Yeah.
Today, the IMF is a creditor to Ghana when we need funds.
Yeah.
And now an advisor to the country about how we can alleviate ourselves from our economic woes.
Yeah.
And another aspect is that from their part, how the economy gains its strength and clearing its debts is significant. So they think that this 1 cedi levy goes a long way to help us navigate ourselves through that turmoil.
Yeah.
However, what are the other ramifications that the ordinary citizen in Ghana would be experiencing with this levy?
Yeah.
You can pass this unsolicited advice from the IMF to Ghana, but what is the effect of this 1 cedi per litre of fuel products sold or purchased in Ghana on the ordinary Ghanaian?
Yeah.
When this levy was passed, with its urgency, it was brought all of, we need this money, we need this money.
Yeah.
We had people in the country saying, well, this is too much. I mean, we just got ourselves off from this fuel burden, and now we're paying a cedi per litre. That means if you buy this amount of money, 1,000 cedis, 83 Ghana cedis, tax on it.
Yeah.
Just opposing with other levies that had been developed or introduced in this country, which were also fought against. But today, the leverage of fuel prices dropping, is the cover for this levy being accepted. But it's unfortunate that this fuel price falling will be short-lived. But this levy will still stay. Because we find the global space, today macroeconomic factors now play a role on fuel prices. We found government, when this government was in opposition, made comments that macroeconomic factors have no business with fuel prices on even the state of economic living in the country. But today, we are beginning to appreciate that Iran and Israeli war in the Middle East, far from Ghana in Africa, West Africa,
are beginning to affect us.
And now making an impact in our life. So you see, I'm just pointing one thing out, that the country's ability to grow should, from today, see beyond propaganda, because it's a misleading element that distracts our growth. A 1% or 1.5% tax on the Electronics Transfer Levy Act 2022, Act 1074, was demonized as overwhelming, burdening, and sickening, and a nuisance. And therefore was reviewed for 1.5 to 1%. And they never saw any better fruition. Today, a 1 cedi levy per litre, which is incremental per the more you purchase, have an effect on the local transport driver and has a ripple effect on every Ghanaian who would, no matter what, inevitably contribute. It's now being brought to bear, all because we have a debt to pay off. Let us appreciate nation building as an important part of our growth than miscommunication, infodemics, and propaganda. That is what I have to say about this.
I can agree with you on your submission. But this is how I think this issue should be looked at. Let's look at, I don't want to be political about it, but let's just look at how...
If you're political, it's part of the situation.
Yes, I agree. But I just want to be objective about it. We have come from very high fuel prices. And in recent times, we have seen the reduction. Today, fuel is going to be reduced again. Okay, so if the current government is saying that there's debts to be paid, energy sector debt that has to be paid. So this is what they think must be done. So we can pay off the debt. Because obviously we are not making any more income as a country in terms of anything. I mean, there are other things that can be explored, but how long would it be explored before we can say that, okay, we have arrived at this decision, so let's implement it. But these issues are facing us right now.
These are real.
So you need to tackle them immediately. So I agree again that there's a chance this fuel prices reduction might not...
It may not stay. Because now...
So what I think must be done is, if this thing must be implemented, the government should be able to tell us objectively what happens if prices shoot up and then fuel has to go up again. Because, I mean, I don't see anything wrong in this things so that we can be able to pay off debt
Why not?
because it is in the interest of the country.
Absolutely.
But if we don't have a sustainable plan to justify what will happen when prices shoot up, that's where I'll have a problem.
Yeah, and you may have a problem. You may have a one
Yeah.
because this levy has not got any sunset clause. That means that it has no end.
Yeah.
It has no room for
Yes.
review.
Yes.
If there was a room for review, well, I mean, we are yet to hear from the Minister of Energy and Green Transition about how he intends to navigate the stature of the tax, juxtaposing with the ordeal happening between Israel and Iran.
Yeah.
Because these will definitely have an impact on our fuel prices. And that will still affect the levy and its position,
Yeah.
either to advance or
Yeah.
retrogress.
Yeah.
And these are very important things. we
Yeah,
have to know.
yeah. So I think this might be the concerns of many Ghanaians because I have just understood and seen many people make a few posts from, for example, one of the brothers I follow on Facebook, Kwabena Prepa, who is part of the Wanderlust team that embarked on that journey to the UK with cars on the or by road.
Yeah.
He said he feels his car with a little below 2,000 cedis when the light is on. So that's when it's fuel is running low. But currently he's able to save about 400 cedis, okay, from that money. So he thinks that if he's going to pay per the liters he's buying, if he's going to pay 128 cedis, which is the 1 cedi per liter, which is not even going so close to that 2K he used to pay, he's okay. But his only concern again is if there's going to be a mess up. So basically, it comes back to what
he is in affluent class. We should be more concerned about what happens in the middle
to
and
the
lower
ordinary
income,
Ghanaian,
because the lower income class are the ones who make a difference. If you want to see, if you want to assess your economic impacts and how you make the livelihood better, peg it with the lower class.
Yes,
because if they are okay, everything is okay.
Yeah,
but if they are suffering at the expense of the high class,
I completely agree.
They're not making any sense.
Yeah,
that's the point.
So basically, that's what should be looked at, and then we can move on with this one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And our next story we have here, you can bring your comments in. It's very important. So if you follow the discussion, we've spoken about the travel ban to the US and how it's all going. We've also spoken about the 1 cedi levy, the D levy. You know, they say it's like a football pitch. E levy, come and sit down. D levy, go inside.
Substitutions.
There's something whispering in my ear.
Okay.
But anyway, and we are now on another story about can Africa leapfrog with AI despite its energy prices. So this statement was made by, one of the very famous CEOs, CEO and founder, chairperson of the United Bank, UBA, Tony Elumelu, Nigerian business mogul, about how the attention of Africa's economy should be on either on enhancing AI, investment in AI, or investment in sustainable energy, because the crisis of energy within the continent is actually dire and becoming quite unbearable. What do you think, Phil, on this matter? Is he right? Is he making the point?
Tony Elumelu has spoken the truth. Hard truth. He's one of the guys I fancy so much. I see him as a mentor of her, and I follow a lot of the things that he does. And I don't think that he has spoken anything out of context, because for me, the issues he raised in addressing this digital divide are so key, because he came up with issues. One of the issues which we just talked about Ghana's energy debts, whatever. Okay, one of the major things he's talking about is sustainable electricity when it comes to AI, which is a major problem in Africa. He's talked about cities like Lagos, Nairobi, Johannesburg. Accra wasn't listed in there, but Accra is definitely one of those cities when it comes to urbanization and all of those things. All these things, without proper electricity, will not take us anywhere. I see the issue of if we can leapfrog and all of those things and get to where we have to get to in terms of AI. It's not a big deal. I think the leapfrogging can be done. But what is the point of leapfrogging when you haven't tackled fundamental issues that can come back to bite you? You get me? So for me, I feel like the AI discussion Africa must be active in it. We need to wake up. We are probably asleep and not thinking about it enough. And so we are not investing. And people are leaving Africa and going to Europe and America, and then they are studying and doing stuff in there. If we don't follow this conversation and partake in it as a continent, we will be left behind. So I totally agree with Tony about what he's saying, and I am just more concerned about the limited electricity access. It's a fundamental thing for me. If we don't tackle these kinds of things, we will not be able to be in the race. I don't think we want to be in competition because these countries or these continents are advanced than Africa, but we must be in the conversation. We must be in there doing things, because when you look at the tech space in Africa and what Africans are doing, you'll be disappointed to know that we should not continue on this. I think we should be able to do it. So the fundamental things, especially sustainable electricity, is a major thing for me. Africa has so much sun. We hear every time when they are talking about energy sector issues, and we talk about fuel and gas and other things. I think
there's a video on Tony Elumelu on this matter. Let's hear from him during the Bloomberg interview on what exactly he said about how Africa could prioritize between AI and sustainable energy.
For me, as an African and as an African investor who invests in over 24 African countries and on 4 continents outside of Africa, I see capital flow as very critical and transformative for Africa in particular. We have so much infrastructure deficit on the continent. We need private capital investments on the continent. We have so much deficiency in electricity. Access to electricity is poor. Everyone is talking about AI today. How can we even power data if we don't have access to electricity?
Well, there we have him, the business mogul Tony Elumelu, and his views about how Africa ought to focus on building sustainable grounds for energy production and energy use rather than investing heavily in AI if there's energy to power it. And so you really made your points very clear earlier. I think that it's on point. Out of a 2.3 billion population in Africa, we have more than 600 million who are actually off the grid, totally dark. If you fly at night in Africa and you get to some part of the world, you ask yourself, are these undiscovered areas of the world? No, they're not discovered. They're actually areas on the planet in Africa, but they are out of light. And people have died, lost their lives in hospitals because of energy issues. Airports have lost power, energy issues. It becomes more of like a cliche. Now, the word Dumso should be in a dictionary. If Ghana had a dictionary, Dumso will be a term.
It's actually a term that's on Google. If you put it in Google, it will come up.
Erratic power supply. Which is, it shouldn't be entertained. But an economy like this entertains power outages repetitively. Becoming a lifestyle.
The sad thing for me is that now we try to compare it in countries. So, for example, Ghana is better than Nigeria. So that banter happens on social media, and then Nigerians are disappointed that in Nigeria you can put on your generator for almost the whole day because there's no power. But in Ghana, okay, you can have maybe a few hours off and then it's back. And we kind of trying
to entertain something like this.
For me, it's a mediocre conversation.
It's abomination.
It's a mediocre conversation.
Very disturbing matter that has really wrecked our economy a lot. That we should find a lasting solution to. How do we solve this energy crisis? We thank God the 1 cedi levy is here to at least provide a means out of that. We've gone to the education, realize that if we're able to implement this and realize the target, we would be able to alleviate ourselves from Dumso, which is the motivating factor for this levy. We hope so that it works that way. On the other hand, we have other African countries that do not have the infrastructure enough.
That's a major issue.
To even process energy.
Major issue.
In Egypt and Ethiopia currently are brawling over the Nile. So if you look at the Nile thread, Ethiopia wanted to establish a dam so they could generate more power for its communities. Egypt says no. If you do that, then I get lesser of it, because a dam means you are lifting one part of the water body, so that what leaks off is just the leaks, less quantity, and there are drags. So we also won't get water for our normal activities. And this has been going on since 2022.
Yeah.
You ask yourself, there's power crisis, but we are not having a headway on how we could share power through our limited resources. Is it that we haven't explored other viable sources like solar, which is also viable, even though it costs more investment, but it's also the sunlight we have so much. Thermal energy could also be a way. What do you think about that?
I think that I was about to make that submission before we went to watch the video. Africa has so much sun. I don't think that we are investing so much in solar power. Often you see individual companies, organizations talking about solar. You hear little about governments or the continent in total talking about solar power, which is a major problem. Because I don't know why we cannot leverage on natural resources again, like the sun, to do this. I know it will be more expensive, but let us do the analysis cost-wise.
It's sustainable.
That's the thing.
And it's renewable.
Yes. So it will save us some money in the future. Let's spend the money now, or let's build capacity towards it, and let's build a proper plan to make sure that, okay, this is maybe, let's say, this is the, assuming, let's say it's a 10 billion plan, let's say for Africa. Let's look at how we can put these things together. Even if the continent doesn't want to come together, the countries that think they can do this, put a plan together, work around it, and then let's move on. And then even if a current government is not able to make it happen, we have to think, this is where the politics thing has to be taken out. And then it won't look like, okay, I'm not in power, so I'm not going to support it. So people have to come together. The leaders or political parties have to come together, build a sustainable plan for their countries. Make sure that even if it cannot be established like now, maybe in 5 years, in 10 years, there should be a roadmap. Whoever comes in as president or whichever government comes in, follow the roadmap and make it happen. I've always said that one of the things that can make Africa grow, aside our politics, we have to be clear on certain things. For example, education, finance, health. These things are things we shouldn't joke about. There should be clear policies, sustainable, 20 years minimum. And then every government that comes in should follow suit. That way we will grow. But I don't see why we keep doing this political thing.
Within the Ghanaian context, to be able to power Ghana, we have to buy crude.
Yes.
And that is close to 2 billion all the time. We do this continuously. And that is why the D-levy is necessary, because we need that money to be able to buy the fuel and then come and work it out. And whilst the cost of establishing a solar facility would be a one-off cost. So we will need to reconsider how we spend. If we want to really hold things sustainably, we may have to vary our choice of energy.
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you.
And we'll have to move on to the next story. I think the next one is about Nigeria sparks outrage with call for prayer to end food crisis. You know, is it the people of Nigeria doing this, or just a group of people doing this in Nigeria? Is it every Nigerian?
Well, it's a group of people. It's a group of people, because this story is quite clear. It's about the Ministry of Agriculture, which is who's calling their staff to pray on Mondays regarding the problems.
Really?
Yeah. It's a big deal. It sounds funny, trivial, and all of that. Those of you watching this, I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I mean,
send your comments.
Yes, send your comments about the matter. It's serious. If God should come in and intervene, then I think President Tinubu, respectfully, that you have to sit down. Sit down for God to take the office. No, this is very clear. No, this is the point. We have a whole governance system. Within Africa. Now, China is not crying to God for food. Not the US. We, Africa, who are endowed with arable lands.
Arable land. That's
the word is arable. Lands which are endowed for growth. Lands which are not distracted by war. Lands which are not plagued in any way.
It's very
Africa is
funny.
termed globally as a food basket.
Yes.
And you are here crying that we should pray to God to help us alleviate ourselves from food security. I think that we haven't done ourselves a good service to the people of Nigeria. Africa, come on.
Look, this issue is too funny for me to talk about because
how can this be come to bear?
I don't know. It's when I saw the story, I couldn't relate because the only relatable part for me is I'm a Christian. I believe in God. He hears prayers and everything. But to say that a ministry is asking its staff to pray and even have a shadow on Mondays, look, it's not a bad thing to pray. But this is purely a system problem.
I mean, it's unfortunate. So let me just, so our viewers out there, if you want to share your views, your comments, if you want to be part of the conversation this morning, let's do it with you. Let's do it together. Just send your message to +233 266 296 601. So on the screen, right on your screen, there's a number there. That number is open for your comments. Just send a WhatsApp message. We'll just read your comments and tell everyone about what you were saying. So you can also be part of the conversation. Tell us your name and where you join us from and what exactly you want to say to help the conversation this morning. Yeah. So Phil, you were saying.
So my point is this. It's not wrong to pray.
Yeah.
But when you are asking your staff to pray and making it a national issue, it's a big deal for me.
It's a big deal. I mean, it's an embarrassment.
It's a pure issue of you not doing your job and you want to rely on God.
I mean, on food security. God.
And you can't underestimate food security.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest deals right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know why this ministry thinks that it is the approach to take. I mean, for me, I don't care how much they want to defend this issue, but even to make it a public issue and announce it, for me, is a big deal. What are you doing wrong that you're having food security issues? That's the first question. What have we done in the past? What are we doing? What is the system like? Why are we not actually? I think somebody's not doing their job.
Yeah. I mean,
or maybe the entire ministry is not doing their job.
You know, it's unfortunate how the governance structure has been driven in Africa, and it's very disturbing. It's not a joke, but Africa isn't really being serious in its choice of leaders.
It's disappointing.
And the vision they carry.
It is disappointing.
And Nigeria, as a very big brother within the African continent, I mean, one of the largest countries in space and in population, 200 million plus people in Nigeria. It calls for a huge responsibility on government to prioritize on very key things. Food, very important. Power, very important. Energy, very important. So if a country like Nigeria, with all its prowess, with all its potential, with all its resources, is now declaring itself, that I think that we are actually in a food bankruptcy. So we need a bailout on food. Come on, the Nigeria. You say, Omo, you fall for hand for Ghana. You fall our hand for Africa because this is unheard of.
It's
unheard of.
It's very disappointing. I tell you, it's very disappointing.
Yeah.
And for those of you watching, if you are from any other African country, let this not happen to you. Let the story of Nigeria be the last one. Because it's a continental embarrassment if any other African country experiences this thing again. I beg you, there are great ministers across Africa. I beg you, put your heads together.
Yeah.
It's a plea.
No, and you know, the African Union has a lot of policies, comprehensive policies for agricultural enhancement. The CAADP is for agriculture to help enhance agricultural status within the African continent. So what do we do at the African Union? If its policies are not replicated and implemented within our own local countries. And for the fact that Nigeria being one of the giants in Africa in terms of oil production, you are a big name in Africa. Before we, the little ones, come in, Nigeria is an oil producer and shouldn't be in this predicament. So these are very serious matters. And it calls that, well, I think it sounds on the last part of inefficiency in government. It's a pure act of government inefficiency, government ineffectiveness, and a missed priority in government focus and operations, and it must be heavily condemned. Nigeria is better than this.
The fact that you talked about the African giant thing, Nigeria has earned that nickname, the African giant.
Better than this.
Why would they sit for this to happen?
Better than this.
They have to do better.
Nigeria,
wake up.
Nigeria. It's enough with the corruption scandals. Well, that's what we had. I mean, for the past 3 years, Nigeria has been top of the list with lots of corruption scandals, and we just find ourselves within this state where food is insecure within the Nigerian space. It's a big call for Africa to wake up. Today is Nigeria, tomorrow it will be another country. If your agricultural sector is sleeping, you have to wake up.
Yeah.
And especially if you are well endowed as a country with so much resources, it is not expected for you to be in this predicament. It's basically not allowed. I mean, we can't allow this to happen. Unfortunately,
I think it's a sin if you ask me. This is a sin.
It's serious.
It's a sin.
It's serious. But anyway, if you call God, He will come.
Oh, God will always hear us, but God will not do for you what you have to do for yourself.
The
That's
Bible
the thing.
says in 1 Chronicles, I think 2:7-14 that
Preach on.
It says, if you call me and you change from your evil deeds, I will come and heal your land.
We only know how to call, but we don't know how to repent. That's where the problem is.
So God will come and heal your land. If whatever you are doing in there, you shun the evil ways, God will heal your land.
Amen
So
to that.
Do a more of a retrospective view of yourself. Do a retrospect and see what exactly is going wrong within the country Nigeria.
Yeah.
And maybe you will find these loopholes, seize them, and perhaps we'll see that things change in Nigeria. I wish Nigeria the best in terms of this.
A big amen to that. A big amen to that.
They should not be within this situation. There are too many to be plagued by this issue of hunger.
Yeah.
Yeah, too many.
Well, so that brings us to the end of the news portal review and discussions. We will go on a break, and when we come back, Jemima will be back with lifestyle.
Well, I think we have
some stories,
some comments that we have to check.
Right. So before the break, let's go through this. Comments.
A quick one. Yeah. Let's see what's happening. Who said what? Well, there we go. From Choma Blaze Chikere, she says, amazing. Well done, AAU. Thank you so much, Prof. Choma. Nathaniel Arrow says, with all these rich agricultural lands, Africa shouldn't experience this. And that's the point. It just corroborates what we're saying.
Yeah.
That we are so endowed when it comes to the lands. We are supposed to be a backbone of agriculture. And as a backbone with all that potential, if you cannot meet up, the questions are huge. I mean, a lot of questions that will level against you about you being inefficient and ineffective because you have got the potential to do it.
Yeah.
Let's see this one. So, okay, the same thing. Yeah, so we can have more of a comment coming in if you want to be part of the conversation about how Nigeria is faring with its present predicament about food shortage in a very well-endowed country like this. It's unacceptable. But anyway, so we can go for a break.
So stay tuned. We'll be back with lifestyle.
Are you a university, college, high school, private organization, NGO, individual professor, instructor or facilitator seeking to take advantage of the numerous benefits of online education? Look no further. The AAU eLearn Africa LMS is a great opportunity to begin your journey to online course development and creation for teaching, learning and training purposes. AAU eLearn Africa LMS, which is a partnership between the Association of African Universities and eLearn Africa, has made available ease to use online learning tools to all stakeholders within the educational ecosystem of the African continent. This is to enhance teaching and learning in the bid to expand online learning opportunities for students in Africa. The online platform is open and available for free to all stakeholders and facilitates virtual access to classes without needing the other tools such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, among others. For more information, visit www.elearnafricalms.com or contact us via aaulms@aau.org or estherm@elearnafrica.com. Follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at AAU eLearn Africa LMS.
Africa. Keep watching AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
Explore a whole new world of exciting visuals with AAU TV. Get ready for a mix of interesting talk shows, interviews, discovery documentaries, and news on AAU TV. It's not just about watching TV, it's about experiencing something special. AAU TV reaches over 25 countries in Africa, bringing you a blend of knowledge and fun. Learn about different cultures as you enjoy the shows. If you have events or want to showcase your business, we've got you covered. Watch AAU TV free-to-air channel on satellite. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, at AAU TV. Reach out on call or WhatsApp us at +233 26 629 6601 or +233 20 399 5210. AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
So you're welcome back from the break, and this is our lifestyle segment. My name is Jemima Daladem-Duche, and I'm doing this with
Philemon Edwards.
Okay. So Phil, yesterday was Father's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course today we want to celebrate some amazing fathers or father figures. I mean, we have fathers and we have father figures.
Yeah.
All of them sum up to be fathers. Yeah. And I mean, we shared messages to our cherished viewers to send in their well wishes to their fathers or their father figures. But before I read that, I want to have a chit chat with you.
Okay.
How was your day yesterday?
It started off as a regular Sunday. Went to church, but then the surprises started coming from church because usually a lot of men don't do active stuff in church. So like during Bible reading time, then there's a man who's leading us. Other things, men leading, announcement reading.
Everything was about the men yesterday.
So it was beautiful. But what captured my attention the most was, I think I saw something on social media where the president of Ghana was in his church and was doing regular stuff like an MC. And there's a comment he passed that was so interesting. And he said that he was acknowledging people just like an MC would acknowledge people in a program. And he mentions I think the men's fellowship leader's name, and he stands and blah blah blah, and he goes like, "Well, I'm the president, but he's my president." That kind of a thing. So I mean, I just ended my day reading a lot of messages, people pouring out their hearts to their fathers and all of that, But anyhow you look at this, the mothers are properly celebrated.
I don't want to go down that tangent, to be honest. But what do you think of African fathers? Because I saw something on social media and it was talking about African fathers. There were some bullets, the person spoke about.
Okay.
Since you're an African father, let me ask you.
Ask me.
It says that African fathers never say, "I love you."
Amen. Look, I'm not going to defend the African fathers.
Okay.
Let me speak for myself here because I have to tread cautiously. Okay, you see, often the African man, like me, is thinking about, okay, like number one, you are born in Africa, so the continent alone is one problem. If you're not careful and your country has problems like Ghana,
that's the wahala of men. No, but that shouldn't be an
your
issue
continent
to you
is a
telling
problem.
your kids
Your
that, oh, I
country-
love you.
No, I'm building a point. Your country in which you're born or you are is a problem. If you're not coming from a good family, that's another one. Then you have to come and deal with yourself. So these are 4 things already. So you're thinking about all these 4. Then now you have to start thinking about your family. You see, the thing
you
is
can't
that,
say I love you.
not that you can't say. These things eat so much into your mind. You don't even think about saying it.
Oh, come
the
on,
showing
you
that we love you.
You guys.
Okay, the showing that
well,
we
there
love
is
you.
the showing, but
So the
sometimes
showing
you want
is
to hear
the way we are embedded in our thinking and thinking about how to make
And
the home
caring
comfortable.
for us.
Yes, you come and tell us you need school fees for the kids and all. Look, the money is not there, but somehow, somewhere we make it
Yeah, you
happen.
make it.
So that is the love. So we are sorry if we don't say it.
But
enough,
yes, it's about you
okay?
saying it.
We are sorry if we don't say it.
The statement is
enough.
about you saying,
But
not
when
you
you see the
proving.
actions, interpret it as we telling you that we love
And
you.
then the second one says that African fathers never agree to, they have money.
Say that again.
They never agree they have money.
But we make it happen.
But they make it happen.
So you see,
that is the father.
the truth is the money is not always there. Honestly, it's not.
But
you see,
however possible, they will find
somebody used to say, do back. You see, you put one together, you put 2 together.
Yeah.
We all know 1 + 2 will give you 3, but sometimes you must put 1 to 2 to give you 5 because you are sorting 5 people out, but you have limited
resources.
So that's the thing.
Well,
I mean.
That's interesting.
My director is whispering to me we have to show working. Well, I get it, but the working is more important than the saying.
I see.
You know?
And then there is one that says that fathers go hungry to make sure the family.
Oh, that's so true.
That
is so true.
That's called silent sacrifice.
So you see, suddenly
they are hungry, but they leave
suddenly
it for
my
them.
tone is I'm getting emotional.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because the kind of pain a lot of men
go through.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't. I'm not saying that the women don't take.
Oh yeah,
I mean the women have their fair share.
Oh, but I mean you said something from the beginning of the conversation that regardless, women are still celebrated.
Oh yeah,
more.
Yeah.
I think that alone is enough.
I mean that's another conversation to talk about another day. But the hunger thing it's not a thing a lot of men talk about.
Yeah.
Men are used to harboring the pain.
Yeah.
Confiding in themselves and not talking.
That's a man. That's a man.
But that's where I'm a bit concerned because these things can trigger other things like mental health and all of that.
Exactly.
Men are supposed to be opening up, but that's a real truth there.
But let me read some messages here that we got from some people. So I'll read this, and it says that Happy Father's Day. On this special occasion, we extend our heartfelt wishes to a remarkable leader and a father figure. Professor Olushola Bandele Oyewole, the Secretary General of the Association of African Universities, continues to say that your vision, humility, and commitment to advancing higher education in Africa continue to inspire and uplift everyone privileged to work with you. Beyond your distinguished role, you embody the qualities of a true father, wise, supportive, nurturing, and always leading with integrity. As a team, we have felt your care, encouragement, and dedication, and we are deeply grateful for the positive impact you have made in our lives and work. Happy Father's Day, Professor Olushola Bandele Oyewole.
Yeah.
May your day be filled with peace, joy, and well-deserved appreciation of all those whose life you continue to shape. And this is coming from the AAU TV team, that is the TV department of the association. What do you have to say to Professor Oyewole?
Happy Father's Day to him. He's been a great father. He should just continue being the great father that we have. We love. Prof, we love you so much.
We love you so much. Yeah. So I'll read another one here. And it says that Happy Father's Day. On this special day, we pause to honor a true father, not only to his family, but to many across Ghana and beyond. Bishop Gideon Wofi Titi Ofei.
Yeah.
Your life is a reflection of godly wisdom, visionary leadership, and unwavering compassion. You have mentored countless lives, shaped destinies, and stood as a beacon of hope, strength, and integrity. Through your words and actions, you have shown us what it truly means to lead with love, serve with humility, and inspire with purpose. Today, we celebrate you not just as a bishop, a leader, or an educator, but as a father whose influence stretches far and deep. Happy Father's Day, Bishop.
That's a beautiful message, and I want to associate myself with that because I
Mm-hmm.
do follow Bishop Tissue of First teachings on Spotify,
Mm-hmm.
and he has got great messages, especially about leadership. He's a pastor, but he talks a lot about leadership.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this wish was from the University of Gold Coast.
Yeah.
So I'll read another one here which says, Daddy, you mean the world to me. I couldn't have asked for better because you are the best. On this day set aside to celebrate fathers, I want you to know that I love you. And this is to Mr. Michael Addo and from Benedicta. Yesterday, which people did you send messages to?
My biological father is no more.
So sorry
Unfortunately,
about that.
yeah, that's fine. My foster father, who took care of me as well, he also died in 2023. So let me say the very immediate ones in my life are no more. But the ones who are still having an impact on me are my spiritual fathers. So I send them messages. There's Apostle Richard Waffle, that's the ex-general overseer of the Lost Pentecostal Church. Then
Pentecostal.
Yeah, and then the current general overseer, Apostle Eric Inimesando Ochu, I sent him a message, and my pastor, Apostle Paul. So I just want to take this opportunity to say to all my fathers, Apostle Waffle, Apostle Ochu, Apostle, so I love you so much. Thank you for all the secret prayers, the counseling, everything. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, that's a good one. So you can also share your wishes on our comment section on YouTube. That's the Association of African Universities, if you are watching us at the moment. So I'll continue with some messages. So this is from Mrs. Mavis Dagadu, and she's a staff at the Republic Bank Legon branch. And this is to her manager. She says, to Manager Foster, thanks for being a strong pillar for us to lean on and going all out just to make us happy. Team Legon is super proud of you. You're selfless, worth emulating. So happy Father's Day, Manager Foster of Republic Bank Legon branch. And this one is still from Mrs. Mavis Dagadu, and she says to her husband, Teddy Dagadu, Mr. Teddy Dagadu, happy Father's Day to my wonderful and loving husband. You are loved and being cherished for all the sacrifices you have to give just for us to be happy. May God bless you with continued wisdom, joy, and as you continue to show love and guidance. So, Mr. Teddy Dagadu, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Any wishes?
Well, I just want to wish all my brothers, my friends, I mean, all the guys making it happen.
Yesterday at some point, I don't know, people were wishing potential fathers. You know, when it gets to such celebration, it's very, you don't know who to wish and who not to wish. Yeah. I remember Mother's Day, somebody wished me, oh, happy Mother's Day. And I said in my mind, what's happening? But of course, it's just like that, appreciating people, women, or appreciating men
who say those things because of what they see in you. I got a few people wishing me a happy Father's Day as well, and it was coming from some young people in my church because I've been my church's national youth or international youth coordinator before, so I have worked with them. So some of them look at me in a certain light, even though I'm not their biological fathers. But we talk about school, we talk about it. So maybe based on how they look at me. I mean, I got one of them who sent a voice note which was so touching, and I mean, like it touched my heart so much. So I mean, I think that you should just take it in anywhere it comes from.
Yeah.
So like I was saying, to all my friends, my brothers, I mean, my list is long, to Nathan, to Fred, to Robert, to myself, Nicholas, happy belated happy Father's Day to all of you, brides and everybody. I mean,
I think there are still a lot of messages coming.
So let's take the messages then.
So this one is from Mrs. Mavis Dagadu, and it says that happy Father's Day, Oga Pius. You are always strong, very hardworking. Your patience and love for us always make us feel special. Your unwavering support you give to people close and far from you is just amazing. May your day be filled with so much love and so much blessing from our heavenly Father. So that is it. You can also share your comments with us or your wishes with us via the comment section on YouTube, Association of African Universities. And I'll read another one here from Mrs. Priscilla Anson. Happy Father's Day. She says, happy Father's Day to two incredible men in my life. And one is to her dad. To my dear dad, she says, Mr. Akins, thank you for being my first hero, my guide, and a strong foundation I still lean on. Your wisdom, sacrifices, and prayers have shaped me in more ways than I can count. I am forever grateful. That is to Mr. Akins, Priscilla's dad. And to her amazing husband, Mr. Kwabna Anson. Watching you, she says, watching you love, protect, and nurture our family fills my heart with pride. You are caring, intentional, and present. Everything a great father should be. Thank you for being a partner I can count on and a father to our boys. So happy Father's Day to this, to both amazing men. So that is it. I would also want to use this opportunity to wish my lovely father a happy Father's Day, my mentors, my confidants. I wish all of them a happy Father's Day. I know they wouldn't want their names to be mentioned, so I'll just put it out here. So happy Father's Day. I'm sure yesterday a lot of you enjoyed yourself. So we'll go for a quick break, and when we come back, we'll give you more. Stay tuned.
Explore a whole new world of exciting visuals with AAU TV. Get ready for a mix of interesting talk shows, interviews, discovery documentaries, and news on AAU TV. It's not just about watching TV, it's about experiencing something special. AAU TV reaches over 25 countries in Africa, bringing you a blend of knowledge and fun. Learn about different cultures as you enjoy the shows. If you have events or want to showcase your business, we've got you covered. Watch AAU TV free-to-air channel on satellite. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, at AAU TV. Reach out on call or WhatsApp us at +233 26 629 6601 or +233 20 399 5210. AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
Hello Africa, keep watching AAU TV.
This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
Welcome back from the break, and if you're watching us, this is the lifestyle segment on the Hello Africa Morning Show. So I'm still receiving some messages, and I'll read this, and it says, Happy Father's Day to all the incredible fathers and father figures within the AAU, which is the Association of African Universities. Today we celebrate more than just leaders. We celebrate father figures who have guided us, supported us, and treated us like family. Your kindness, patience, and dedication have left a lasting impact on each of us. Thank you for always looking out for us, encouraging our growth, and making the workplace feel like a second home. You lead with both heart and wisdom, and we are truly grateful. Wishing you a day filled with joy and same warmth you share with us every day. Happy Father's Day. And this is from the National Service Personnel at the AAU. Phil, I'm back to you.
So before we go, let me also read one message that's coming from Mr. Mike Hammer. And he says, I want to wish all fathers a happy Father's Day and also to all the fathers in AAU TV.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mike.
That's
we
a good
appreciate
one.
this. And happy Father's Day to you as well. Yeah, so let's talk.
So, I mean, we'll be ending soon, but before that, I just saw something on social media. Someone just sent it to me and was like, fathers do not buy clothes for themselves.
Oh my God.
African fathers. African fathers. How true is that? I mean, the sacrifice is so much.
It takes generally a man to be intentional to buy clothes.
Yeah.
If you are not intentional, you will not.
But women.
So if you are not intentional and then you become a father and all this pressure start coming in.
Yeah.
Oh my
then
God.
That's all.
that's where the truth of this issue comes in. Because you'd be spending on the kids most of the time.
Yeah.
Women naturally like to buy things, so once a while they might want to do that.
My gender, I know them.
Yeah, but the men, you just have to be intentional. If you're not
Intentional
intentional,
about it.
naturally, if you're not intentional and you become a father, then forget about it.
And last one, they said African fathers don't say sorry.
Oh, that one I think is for the men and the women. I have not seen African parents say sorry. I mean, like.
They said the fathers.
Yes,
the
I know.
fathers in particular,
I agree.
They don't say
But
sorry.
look, for fathers, I can tell you it's male ego. But naturally, African parents.
Oh, they like to say sorry. The women, we like to say sorry.
This one.
Why are you talking for the women? I'm talking for the women. You can stand for the men.
No.
Let me take the stand
Each
for
one
the
of
women.
us have had African parents. How many times? I'm not going to put you on the spot, but don't answer. But just think about it. How many times has your mother opened this sorry?
A lot of times. This one I'll answer. A lot of times.
Well, no problem.
Yes.
I'm happy for you.
Okay.
I've also had instances my mom said sorry to me. But in many cases, Charlie, it is
I think in many cases, the men, as you said, ego. And you can't take that away from the men.
So if we want to make a poll about this, on social media or any of our social media pages, you'll be surprised to know that they are adults. And when I'm talking adults, I'm not talking Gen Z adults. I'm talking millennial adults who have never had their parents, either mother or father, say sorry once in their whole lives. I'm telling you. If you like, let's take this one as a challenge and do a poll about it.
Maybe we can talk to our viewers.
Yes, if you have comments or messages, just send them in and on the same numbers, and then we'll look at it just quickly before we go. Otherwise, maybe we can do something on social media and we see how it goes.
Okay.
It's an African parents thing.
Really?
I agree for the men. I mean, male ego, but generally, African parents.
Do you guys say sorry?
It's interesting we can say sorry to the wives or the girls, but sometimes to the children. It's difficult, but it's an ego thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. An ego thing. We'll just take it like that. So this is coming from YouTube, and then it says it's from Andami. Yeah, if I got that name right. I'm sorry if I don't. Thank you for being my rock, guiding me and supporting me through thick and thin. I'm grateful for everything you've done for me. Happy Father's Day, Daddy. From Betty to Mr. Seth Andor. So Mr. Seth Andor, happy Father's Day. So before we go, there is a video I watched.
Okay.
Then I think it was a TikTok video where a father was standing and then with two of the boys. I think it's his children, two boys. And then there was this challenge where, there was someone talking at the background and says that take 2 steps forward if you have never had to worry about your next meal.
I think I've seen
and then the two boys step forward. And then it goes again, if you don't worry about, paying your fees, the two guys step forward. And then it was just like that. And then you realize that, when I saw the video, it got me a bit emotional.
That's an emotional video.
Because the dad stood where he was standing from the first question to the last question.
So basically what it means is that this man has done all of these things for his kids, but he didn't get it from his father. So when you ask, take 2 steps if you have never gone to bed hungry, he's still standing. Take 2 steps if you have never been sacked from school for fees, he's still standing.
And then the kids are moving.
So it tells
Wow.
you the generational differences. But I mean, it doesn't also mean that his father never loved him. But
of course,
it's a generational thing. But thank God that he was able to do it for his kids. Yeah, so maybe it's a learning curve for anybody who may have seen this video. And it tells you that we have to be appreciative of our parents. I mean, in this case, both our mothers and our fathers.
Yeah. So on this note, we are coming to the end of the show, and for everyone or to everyone who is watching us, whether you're a father or a father figure, we would like to say a happy Father's Day, and this is from the AAU.
And to all the mothers who play the role of fathers.
Oh yeah, there is that.
I'm
true.
so particular about that.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yesterday I saw a post that somebody posted the mother and was saying that you have been a father.
Yeah.
And it's really
those mothers are worth
touching.
celebrating.
Worth celebrating.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for staying with us, and this has been the Hello Africa morning show, and thanks for watching us. My name is Chimaima Daladem Duche, and I did this with
Philemon Edwards.
Have a nice day.
This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.